Hello, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today I want to talk a little bit about my turkeys. They are white Holland turkeys. I've had them for 2 years now, and they're not my first turkeys because I went adventuring through all of the varieties available, and I have some more notes and some facts and some turkey information about them. Let me get these guys coming out here. They have eaten everything good that was in their runaround area, and I only have 5 adults, so I open them up into our little apple orchard area so they can do some maintenance there. Just hearing my voice, here they come. I don't have to do a fancy call. Come on, turkeys. Turkeys, I mean, they're either really great or really terrible. And I've had some that were too aggressive. Those are the ones we invite to the holidays. The hens are usually pretty chill, and if anyone's gonna be a problem, it's usually the boy, but not this boy. He is excellent. So I do have baby turkeys hatching today. So on the back side of this video, I'll show you how I brood them and how I get them going into a nice strong start. It takes 28 days to hatch a turkey egg. If you don't just get like the broad-breasted turkey varieties, grow them out, process them, and not keep breeding stock, since those commercial hybrids, they're generated through artificial insemination, and I'm not doing that. I need the turkeys to do everything on their own. So the heritage types are what I always have because it keeps it pretty low maintenance. Now generally the hens are going to be an active lay for about 90 eggs. They can brood their own, but I like to do it on a schedule with the incubator. And if I let them brood, it's at the tail end of the season from the last of their eggs after I've incubated our fill. Now they are really expensive to feed. It's like their gullets are bottomless pits. So the more I can get them onto forage and feeding themselves, the better the math works for that side of things. I've tried pretty much all of the other colors because it's different than chickens. Chickens have different breeds, and within those breeds there's different varieties. But turkeys, a turkey is a turkey is a turkey. There is some variance to growth rate, fleshing, and their size, but at the end of the day it's mostly feathers. Look at that hen checking out Muffin. Muffin knows not to act afraid, even though she's little. Now the white Hollands, they have grown out the best for us. They stay meaty for the duration of growth. They don't have that super lean period of bone growth that all the other varieties had. And they've quickly become my favorite for the production traits. My second favorite is the Bourbon Red. And the rest of the colors, they were all pretty comparable to each other. So just pick a color. Unless you want stronger table traits, then look into the white Holland. White is such a boring color. But I'll tell you what, they perform pretty good. Alright, I've got to prep a brooder to get the first batch of baby turkeys out of the incubator. I have not let the eggs pile up for the girls to take advantage of going broody. If I do that, probably another month or so, so I get 2 to 3 months of hatching before I let them do their side of it. And that'll keep us pretty flush in turkey. And I normally only grow out between 6 and 12 a year for our own holiday needs. And taking the math from being in the red into the black comes from letting go of the extra babies when they're about 2 weeks old. And normally that covers the feed expense of the adults for the entire year, plus the feed for the ones we have for the holidays. So a solid break even from birds that eat as much as these monsters do, that's pretty good. I'll take that. I'm not worried about profits so much as I'm worried about us eating and not spending a fortune to do so. All right, Tom. I have to go check on your kids and get them set up. He really wants me to be his girlfriend, but I'm not trying to go there with him. So a little warning, don't sit down by a tom turkey, especially if he thinks you might be a lady. Just saying, stay standing, stay safe. Alright, so I have this batch of American breast chicks that hatched yesterday, and that is by design for the turkeys that hatched today. And that's because baby turkeys have to be shown repeatedly for multiple days how to eat and drink. They do not do it on their own that well. So this is too many baby chicks for the number of turkeys that I have in the incubator. So what I'm going to do is sort these chicks and find the most pathetic among them to be the parent birds to the turkeys. The guys who sort out as large and robust and pretty nice, they're going to drop down to the bottom brooder here. And anyone that I deem to be easygoing enough to not harass the turkeys, they're going to stay with them and show them the food and the water, where the heat source is. And that makes it really easy on me. Otherwise, I have to be the one to come out here every couple hours and show them until they get with the program. And that can take every bit of a week. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this off, sort through these babies, set it back up for the baby turkeys, and see what's in the incubator. So, back in a second. Alright, I left the 4 visually smallest chicks up in this top brooder to be the turkey guides. I reset up with fresh water and fresh feed, with some feed and grit scattered around outside of the feeder because the turkeys are very visual. Then down on the bottom, I moved all the super strong breast chicks. And I'm hoping none of these 4 are gonna pick at the turkeys, because the turkeys will really just sit there and take it. So I will be observing for a little while to see how they do, and to pull out any of them that I need to in case any of the chicken chicks get out of line. So next I'm going to go ahead and open up the incubator, see how that hatch is going. They started yesterday evening, which was a little smidge early. So we'll see if more than half have hatched at this point or not. I might not pull them just yet. We'll see. I got to open it up and see what's going on. I did have one little breast chick that was late, which is the one that is still drying out a little bit, but it's getting with it. Now the benefit of keeping the underlings with the turkeys is they're going to get the benefit of that better turkey feed, because poultry nutrition for chickens is a lot different than game bird nutrition. And a lot of that has to do with the amino acids, the protein level, and the micronutrients, because quail, turkeys, pheasant, etc., they have much deeper nutritional needs than a chicken does. A chicken is kind of like, think of pigs and how they're like the garbage disposal. Chickens are kind of like that. They don't have to have complex nutrition. So these underlings are going to benefit from the improved nutrition that a game bird would get. Now, I do have them on the American breast starter for a day because our feed store is closed. So I'm going to pop out tomorrow to get the turkey feed. And that's going to be a 28% game bird starter. And for the sake of science and learning, I'll go ahead and get the additional nutrient information off of that feed to see how it compares to chicken feed, because I do know that some people raising the American breasts are using the game bird formulations rather than a chicken specific formulation. So that'll probably be neat to see. But let me go ahead and get in this incubator and see what's going on in there. Now you might notice these are pee pads over top of shavings, and I do this for the first couple of days to show a very clear indication of what is food and what isn't. And that's more important for turkeys because they'll mouth anything that'll fit in their mouth. So I like to have it pretty cut and dry for them to increase the odds of success. Alright, so far there were 4 turkeys that were ready to come out. So I went ahead and pulled them, and the rest of them are still working on it. And it was a pretty small batch of eggs, just about 10 eggs. So I'm going to give the others more time. I'm not going to help anybody because they're going to figure it out or they won't. So sometimes what I'll do to start getting their interest going is I'll take my finger and I'll dip it in the water, and then I'll dip it in some feed, and I'll turn it over and go, here, Turk, Turk. Here, you want some? Now with this being the very first day, they're not going to have a whole lot of interest, but it helps to start getting them interested. Here, Turk, Turk. And if a chicken comes up and starts first, that's fine, because it reinforces what I'm trying to teach. Here, turkey, you want this? The turkeys very much will want something to imprint on. If you spend enough time with them, it'll be you. Here, you want that? Not just yet. So I'm going to give them a little bit of time to get acquainted. The chickens, they don't mind them. Nope, we got one thinking about it. They're so visual that I find just moving around food will help get them curious. And I do have the grit mixed in there already. You want some? But yeah, that's the difference between a white Holland turkey and an American breast chick. Alright. Oh, they're so cute. They're completely unafraid if you are the first thing they see. This is not true of the ones raised by a broody. Why are you pecking your friends? Why? Because they'll peck at anything. That's why. Alright, next I'm going to show you some of our processing results from last season with some documentation on how they were meaty early, right when most of the varieties are actually pretty lean and more focused on bone growth, because the way that a heritage turkey grows is different from a lot of different things in the poultry world. They shoot up in height, they grow a bunch of bone, and then after that they flesh in, versus the double-breasted hybrids that have twice the amount of meat in half the amount of time. So the harvest window on a double-breasted type, which you can get in white or bronze, you're going to be freezer ready in about 4 months. They just don't breed true, and they don't tend to live past a year old. So there's no point in keeping them longer unless you get attached, which happens a lot to people. They get their turkeys and they start growing them, and then they love them, and then they keep them, but then they get too big to function past that 1 year point more often than not. So that's another reason why we do the heritage birds, because if we do get attached, we can keep them. Now I do observe breeding selection with them, and I do check their keels and I check how they're maturing to make sure we're keeping the better ones as we move forward, because breeding standards still matter. No. But doing it this way makes the most sense to me. And a solid break even, I'll take it. All right, let's go look at the adults and see what trouble they have gotten up to while I talk some more turkey information. All right, you can't hide with me. You need to stay under this warmth. Right there. Don't follow me. Use your chickens as your guide. And then I'll sneak away. All right, so I know I said not to sit down around a tom turkey, but I do know this tom turkey for the past 2 years, and I know pretty well what to expect from him. And at the end of the day, turkeys are pretty predictable, really. Some say they're smart, some say they're not smart. And there's some rumors out there. Like, for example, they'll stand out in a rainstorm and look at the sky and drown themselves in the rain. That's not true. Not true at all. You do have to pick a camp of how you're going to want to raise your turkeys. My girls are all inside working on laying eggs. And I'm not going to turn all the way around. There you are. Hey, buddy. So you can do commercial type double-breasted, bring them in, grow them out, process them, and then don't have turkeys the rest of the year. Or you can go the heritage turkey route and you maintain a little breeding group year-round. And normally, that's pretty okay. Normally, everything goes famously, and you have the fun of having the birds, the meals that come from the birds, and you can keep hatching eggs, or they can keep hatching the eggs, so that you can keep a good thing going, and you only add new genetics as you need to, because turkeys can certainly be line bred for quite a while. I worry more about their health and their vigor and their production traits than I worry about how related they are, because they are still poultry. Maybe that's why this Tom is a weirdo. I don't know. Now, as far as their maintenance feed, I put them on a 20% layer formulation because the girls are an active lay, and then the rest of it they have to go find what it is they're looking for. And we do have pretty good biodiversity of greenery and bugs for them to pick and choose at their leisure, which helps reduce the maintenance cost. They put themselves to bed at night in the barn. I don't have to chase them around. I don't have to chase them out of trees. They've actually been really good for me in all the different varieties for almost the decade that I've been at raising turkeys. So I'm looking forward to growing out this year's babies. I'll have a couple more updates, but not too many, because you guys like me for my chicken videos more than my other bird videos. That's okay. We'll just do occasional updates on the rest of the crew. So more on this later. I'm gonna get up and walk away from my super flirty Tom and get on with my day and the rest of my chores.